This is Joy, the Journey of You podcast. We're your hosts, Devin,
Chris,
and Felicia.
And we're here for joy.
This podcast is your permission slip to reconnect to your inherent joy and to embrace it.
Let's fill up the cosmic joy pot together as we dive into today's episode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Journey of You Joycast. Today, you're getting me a solo episode with Felicia. I'm Felicia. So our topic today, it's funny. I had a whole different topic planned after coming back from Hong Kong, competing in the World Championships for bowling. And it was going to be about becoming. And then, as you know, and as is common in our podcast episodes, is the topic today came to me through a real life situation and how I was feeling today. And it's around motivation. So, as I've already talked about, just came back from Hong Kong and I'm pretty jet lagged. And honestly, I was like, okay, I know I can record an episode. Devin's been recording 2 solo episodes back to back, and I wanted to give her some time to rest too. So I thought I could do a solo episode, no problem. And then this morning I wake up at 9:30, my body really needed some rest. And I felt pretty unmotivated. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And why do we want to talk about motivation? As we come into the winter time, at least in the northern hemisphere of the world, so depending on where you live, we're coming into winter and things tend to slow down a little bit, which can be really good as long as it's used intentionally, right? And so, as we know, there are still things in life that need to get done. Day-to-day things, sometimes things that can be really still exciting and fulfilling, i.e. recording this podcast. And yet, I can't explain it. There's times where we just don't feel like we're in the moment to do it, right? Or it's not the right time. And we might procrastinate a wee bit. I don't know if this is you, but if it is, keep on listening. So yeah, we can get all kinds of reasons to procrastinate or not do the action we're intending and taking deliberate action. And so how do we get our mojo back when we're feeling that way? Like I said, I just got back from Hong Kong a few days ago, and I'm still feeling the results of the jet lag. And I know that even if people haven't been traveling, there have been some examples in my life where people are feeling that way, lethargic, unmotivated. And then we get in a place where, again, if it's not intentional rest, right, we can feel a little bit helpless, a little bit, for lack of a better term, worthless. Like, that's not the truth, but it can feel like that in the moment. So what do we do when we feel that way? Well, one of the things that I do recommend before getting into the motivation aspect, right, is actually the 2 topics that Devin's talked about in the last couple of episodes, which is resonance and reflection. Taking a moment to come into yourself, breathe, and listen deep down to the voice that we know as listeners of this podcast is intuition and what you really need, right? So when we come into that space of breathing and that moment of, okay, what feels really resonant? Yes, recording this episode today does feel resonant. It feels like a soul yes. Okay. And then I take some reflection. And this really can happen in the span of a few moments if we're really connected and if we choose to connect. So I take some reflection and I feel, what do I need? What do I need to get that motivation to record this episode? And in my experience, a lot of the time movement can create that energy shift, that move through some stagnation in the body and help us come back into feeling some way of stimulated, right? And that desire, again, to take action. We all know, so I'm not talking about like a rigorous physical activity, even though we all know that, yes, activity, exercise, and that type of movement can definitely create motivation and shift how we're thinking and feeling. And there's endless amount of resources out there to help understand why exercise can create those feelings, including scientific evidence of dopamine and heart rate, all of these things. So while, yes, that is very valid, and I do encourage everybody to go out there and get their physical exercise, what happens when we can't even get off the couch, right? Or feel motivated to go out for a run or go to the gym, right? We need some immediate smaller things that we can do that changes the course of our day or how we're feeling and can brighten our energy. So with that, let's go into a little demo. So first of all, let's close your eyes. And maybe you don't even need this demo to get into what lethargy or, procrastination feels like, because we can be quite used to that in our day-to-day. Probably not. That's why we're here. And if you are feeling that way, that's also why you're here. So let's take a deep breath. Sigh it out, maybe. And just envision yourself when you are feeling that lack of motivation, when you're feeling tired and like you don't really want to do anything, you're overwhelmed, you're laying on the couch, or you're even in a bit of flight, fight, freeze, fawn mode. You're kind of frozen, you're fawning, and you just stay stagnant. You want to be doing something, right? But you just can't find that motivation right now. You can even exaggerate it a little bit and make it a bit comical. I know it's a bit of a heavy topic, so to make it comical, like you can exaggerate it. Feel what it feels like to be stagnant for a week. Ugh. When you've been sick for a little while and your body feels like it needs movement, and there's a time where you want to get up, where you want to move your body. All right, so now blink your eyes open. Come back. There's this breath work that I love to do when I'm feeling stressed, overwhelmed, lethargic, like I want to procrastinate, or like I just need to move my body and get some energy back, which is what this whole episode is really about, right? Creating that space in ourselves for that motivation to take action. So normally I would do this standing, but as we're demoing in this podcast, right, we're going to do it seated. It's called the breath of joy. So feel free to Google breath of joy. There's a number of different videos online that you can follow, right? But if we're doing it along in this demo, you can stay seated, no problem. What you'll do is you'll inhale your arms up in front of you and inhale a third of the way up. So now your arms are at shoulder height and your palms are facing upwards. And then you'll inhale your arms out to the sides and you'll inhale another third of the way. You'll inhale the rest of the way and you'll take your arms up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you'll bring your arms down in a sweeping motion. You can bend your body over, or you can stay upright. It's up to you. It works both ways, and you'll get the benefits of the breath no matter which one you choose. So as you inhale, you'll inhale your arms a third of the way up, and then another third out to the side. You'll inhale another third, and then all the way up. And then as you exhale, exhale out your mouth. Right? So it looks and sounds like, and even if you're not really following what I'm saying as you're listening to the audio, and you don't really have the space or time to go to the YouTube video, you're really just moving your arms up to shoulder height, out to the sides, up all the way towards the ceiling, and then exhaling out. And you'll do this for a space of 30 seconds. Right? Inhaling up, out to the sides, up all the way to the ceiling, and exhale out. 30 seconds. And as we do it, on your last breath, inhale all the way up to the top. Lift your arms up towards the sky. Hold that breath. Suspend the breath. And then exhale down. Let it go. Pause here for a few breaths. Come into that stillness. Now feel the quality of your head space, your chest space, and even your breathing. Okay, listeners. So I know that when I'm doing this breath pattern, when I need that pick me up, when I'm feeling that lack of motivation, out of sorts, or even it's called the breath of joy for a reason, right? So it actually brings you into a joyful space when you allow it. So even if you're not feeling that frustration, the procrastination, or whatever those undesirable feelings are, let's say, sometimes, right? Even if you just need that boost of energy, this is a great way to move that stagnation, move your body, and move yourself into action and motivation. So again, that movement can come in many different forms, right? That was just a little brief demo of what you can do in a short span of time, very quickly, without needing to go to a gym or put on your running shoes, all of which are great, right? This sometimes even can get you motivated to do those activities, to increase your movement further. I invite you to play with this, practice this, and see how it feels in your own life whenever you need that extra pick-me-up. So listeners, feel free to share in the comments how that breath felt for you. I also encourage you, if you're able, if you can, right, Google the standing version of the breath of joy, and play with that. See how it feels. Experiment. This is about how to create, right, that movement of your body, even if sometimes all it takes is standing up or, sitting down and jumping and shaking your arms, right? Kids do this all the time. It's a way of regulating our energy. Sometimes we just need movement to regulate our energy and bring us back to that spark of motivation. So play around with it and let us know how it worked for you. Okay, until next time. Bye.